Alright, YouTube, Andrew from Team Nightside here. I'm gonna give you guys an in-depth discussion of my Dark Worlds and why I built the deck the way I have it built. Alright. I'll get off on different subjects in a minute. I mean, it's gonna be a deck profile and kind of a deck discussion. It's the same deck profile it's been the whole time as the last video, but it's gonna be more detailed now. 3 Grapha. Obviously, I mean, the first 9 Dark Worlds are the same: Grapha, Snoww, and Broww. This is your boss monster that never wants to die. He's 27 on his own, which is really high for the game, and he's 3,000 with gates. And if you've played Shining Force, he kind of looks like Dark Dragon. If you get the reference, comment and obviously, for Shining Force. But the reason I like this guy, I love Dark Worlds. It's one of my favorite decks, obviously. That's why I do profiles on it all the time. But Dark Worlds it's one of those decks that people hate to go up against because it steals their wins. They don't hate it because, oh well, this player luck sacked me and card destruction me first turn. Or they drag down me twice and mind crushed my hand. No, that's not why they hate it. They hate it because they lose rounds to it. Somebody will go undefeated for 3 rounds and then get beat by a Dark World player, then get pared down and lose again. And they'll blame all the Dark World player for getting their loss. When all in all, it was not the fact that Dark World beat him, it's the fact that they couldn't draw the outs to beat Dark World. And Dark World got in their combos faster. Now, Dark World's probably my favorite of the versatile decks because there's a lot of builds of it that I've seen in the past. But this one that I've been using is more virus based. It's gonna be very, very competitive with this when spellbooks finally get their spellbook Judgment Day. And then when Eradicator Epidemic Virus is the boss of all cards, your opponent's gonna cry. Now, obviously we have 3 Snowws. The ability for a monster to search out any card in the deck, pretty much. Like how Snoww can search out, Dealings, Gateway, any monster, and Gates of Dark World. It's just completely insane. The ability to just go through your deck, find what you want, add it to your hand with no consequences, is pretty much one of the most amazing things. One of the most amazing things the deck can do. And on its own, standing up with Gates, it's a live virus target for Eradicator, or not Eradicator, deck Devastation virus. It's a live virus target, and it's 2K. You slap on Gates, you summon this, and you run over Thunder King. It's a really good card, and they should have hit this card on this previous ban list that we had in March. They really should have hit this. I love the deck, it's just that it's really unfair sometimes. Broww, it's simply the draw engine, and it's another normal summon for you to get your Grapha back on board. That's pretty much all he is. The next card I'm talking about is Sillva. The reason I play 3 Sillva is not because it's a 2300 beater, or that you can just special summon it and get it back in your hand for Grapha. It's not only also a virus target, but it's devastating in the mirror match. When your opponent goes first turn card destruction and you have a Sillva in hand, they start crying because A, they just realize they're playing against Dark World player. 2, they realize they just card destruction you, and 3, you just got off 2 or 3 Dark World effects, including Sillva. Which what happens is he'll special summon himself, and then he'll take 2 cards out of your opponent's hand and put them back on the bottom of their deck, which is a very strong advantage of this card, which is why I love to play it. And the reason I play it in the main board at 3 is because of a trap card I have in my side deck at 3 to counter spellbooks. Spellbooks are all normal spells, And so I cited 3 copies of Dark Deal. Dark Deal says I pay 1,000 life points, and your spell card becomes that of which it tells me to discard 1 card of my choosing. So I'm gonna discard my Sillva. You're gonna neg 3 yourself, and I'm gonna have a 26 speeder on the field that your priestess cannot get over unless you have Spellbook of Power, which you probably don't have. Anyway, that's the beauty of Sillva. There are a lot of combos you can do with him. He's stronger than Beige, which is why I run him over Beige all the time. But yeah, Sillva at 3 is just way too good not to play. Then we get into the non-Dark World monsters, the 2 Trance Archfiends. It's really good to have this early game discard outlet in order to keep your combo, start off your combo. Sometimes this is all you need. 2 Trance Archfiends, and his second effect is also really good. To grab back any monster that's been banished. So if they bottomless the Grapha or something, you can just set this card and let them run it over, and you can just get that Grapha back to your hand so you can reuse it. Under Gates is an 1800 beater, and it discards, it goes up to 23, it goes up to 2000 without Gates, so it becomes a deck dev target, and it's just really good. 2 Tour Guides. Obviously, this is the one deck that Tour Guide runs purely in, because you have, when you summon 1, you have 4 targets. You have the other Tour Guide and 3 Browws. And the ability to just go into a Dark World overlay and make whatever you want to. Zen Mains, 10 Tempo, Leviair. I play 2 Leviair. The Leviair plays can be very deadly with this deck. Giga Brilliance is very good in the mirror match, and to get things going off on the first turn with Leviathan Dragon, Tour Guide is just way too good in this deck. I honestly thought Tour Guide should have gone to at least 1. I would still play it at 1, but at the same time, it wouldn't be as great as it is right now if it was at 1. I just love it because it's simply just, this is the deck that Tour Guide belongs in. Onto the spells, 3 Gates. Obviously, this is probably one of the best field cards they've ever invented for the game. The top 3 field spells, I would say, are pretty much Gates, Necrovalley, and the third one would most likely is going to be the Spellbook Tower, because those are the 3 field spells that are most used. The next 2 would be like Close Forest and Seal of Orichalcos. I'm not sure, but Gates is probably one of the most broken field spells that's ever been invented for the game, and I'm surprised they didn't touch it. This is a really, really dirty card in the deck. Dirty, beyond dirty. This is just a filthy card to play. Drag down. The reason I think this is the reason Dark World is what it is today, is because you can just look in your opponent's hand, take away that rabbit, or take away that macro, take away any card that would give them advantage over you, and then knowing that you're going to show them a Dark World and plus, knowing that you get to look at their hand and set up for combos, and possibly have a virus set for any kind of counter that you need to have it set for, it's just incredible. You're gonna draw, and you're gonna plus off of the Dark World. Not to mention you're gonna get rid of that 1 card that you need to get rid of in their hand. Next is 3 Dark World Dealings. I don't know why anybody would tell you to run 1 or to run just 1 or run just 2. This card is just too good to run at 1. Run at 3. If you open it with this, and any Dark World, it's just amazing because you can just get your combos going right away. And 3 Dealings is just very beastly. The next card we're going to talk about is a Win Condition card. Card Destruction. This card is Dark World's Win Condition. It's incredibly stupid to just have a handful of Dark World monsters and then just you draw into this late game. And you just have like 3 Dark World monsters you can't get rid of because you have no gates, no discard outlets. You draw this, and you play it, and they have no way to stop it, they have lost. Because you're going to get 3 effects, and you're going to get 3 cards added to your hand, which probably, at least one of them will be a discard outlet, or like a Monster Reborn, or whatever you want it to be. And most likely you're going to have a Snoww in your hand, maybe. maybe a Grapha or a Sillva, whatever. The next card is Gateway to Dark World. This card is really good to use during your opponent's turn, because you can always go end phase, bring back a little Dark World, then bounce it for a Grapha. Or if they go Monster Reborn Grapha, you can just flip this and make them waste their Monster Reborn. That's just really good, and this is searchable via Snoww. The next card I want to talk about is Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is a setup card. This is the card that you're going to use when you want to set up your plays. Like, if you have Gates, a Grapha, and a little monster in your hand, you have no way to discard. You just go, and you have this. You go Foolish, put like a whatever monster you want to put into the graveyard. That's a Fiend, which is probably, honestly, this whole entire deck is Fiends, so Gates works off every monster in this deck. You put a Fiend in the grave, you banish it, you discard Grapha, you draw a card, you normal summon, you bounce for Grapha. And you just continue to win from there. This card can be a really big game changer. Monster Reborn. This and Dark Hole are pretty much self-explanatory. A Monster Reborn, you never Monster Reborn Grapha if you possibly can. You want to Reborn any Dark World other than Grapha if you can. Upstart Goblin. Usually I'll never go through all three of these, but if I do, they're always in a row, so I'll just nick off that 3,000 with one swing with Grapha, and it makes this deck less than a 40-card deck, so that's why I play 3 Upstart. 3 Mind Crush. Now, Mind Crush I play at 3 because, 1, I'm running Dark World, so if I miss what I'm calling, I plus off of it either way. Either way I do this, I can plus off of it. The only time I don't like to run 3 Mind Crush is if I have a Trance and a Tour Guide in my hand. Or I have 2 Trances. It just gets really irritating at that point, which every deck opens up bad sometimes. And Dark World is no exception to that rule. Dark World has never been an exception to that rule, and it never will be an exception to that rule. But Mind Crush, you have a lot of combos you can play this with. You can play it with Drag Down, it's devastating. You can also play it with the Viruses, which is devastating. Or you can just wait for them to add something to their hand and get rid of it. Or you can just blind call, say like you have Stardust Dragon Assault Mode in your hand. Or whatever. Or something that you know people don't play. Like Jade Insect Whistle. I always call it Jade Insect Whistle because nobody plays that card anymore that I know of. And Mind Crush is just, it's really good at 3 and it controls your opponent's hand. The next 4 cards I'm going to talk about, 2 Deck Devs, 2 Eradicators. Right now the Viruses aren't that great. The better of the 2 right now is probably Eradicator. And what happens is, when spellbooks come out, both of these are going to become very, very powerful cards to run in any deck. The ability to knock out one of the 3 types of cards your opponent is running in their deck is very devastating. Eradicator is going to be extremely powerful against spellbooks. And Deck Dev's going to be kind of up there because a lot of the weaker spellbooks that are under 1500 attack, like Justice, Temperance, and Magician of Prophecy, they're all under 1500 attack, so Virus hits them all, and then this means they can't, the Eradicator means they can't summon their Priestess, and they can't go off on you, and it gets sacky from there. But yeah, the Viruses are just very good in this deck, and there are a lot of monsters that can go off with it. And the last one I'm going to talk about is Starlight Road. Starlight Road has been used a lot for me in this deck because people are going to go, you have a handful of back row, and when you play Drag Down, you're going to want to set all your hand, most likely, and play your gates. You're going to want to set your hand and play Drag Down to control your hand, that way you don't lose anything valuable. And Starlight Road is the one card that I run that counters all that. And it stops stuff like Dark Hole from going off, so that's really good to do too. Again, like I said, spellbooks, I side in Dark Deal because that wrecks them. Heavy Storm, MSTs, these all get rid of problem cards that give my deck problems and all that. Skill Drain, Dark World works really well around Skill Drain, and I don't see why anybody wouldn't run Skill Drain Dark World. It's really good. I need a third one of these to put in here because Skill Drain is just too good not to run at 3. 2 goes in match. A lot of decks out there are going to run spellbooks, especially if we're running multiple attribute monsters, and goes in match says no to that. Then I run 1 more copy of each virus because having that extra virus can mean winning the game. You'll side out the opposite virus to play him in, obviously. That's how that works. And then 1 return from different dimension. This card is incredible. It's game winning. It's so good. To pay half your life once, bring back half your banish zone is just really, really good. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember to comment, rate, subscribe, and if I get 25 likes, I'll do another video like this with my Black Wings. Alright, so remember to like this video, comment, rate, subscribe. Peace out.